is a little demonstration showing how to paint a hillside with some trees on. Here are the colours I'm going to be using for this demo. Lemon yellow, cadmium red, alizarin crimson, ultramarine blue, and phthalo or phthalo blue. Right, so I've looked at the shape of the cherry trees, the shape of the hillside. This area here, which I think is an unploughed field, has a kind of a pretty kind of pink appearance. And the idea of the exercise is really just, you know, how do we get this white blossom that's on these trees and the effect of the trees in the distance. The tricky bit is that they're in the distance, and if you have too much texture, they're going to jump forward. So I need to use some wet and wet techniques. The first technique I'm going to use is a wet and wet technique for the sky. So I'm first going to mix up the colour, which is going to be a mixture of ultramarine, a little bit of phthalo blue, and I'm going to add a little bit of cadmium red into that, just to make it a little not quite so bright. Maybe a touch more of the ultramarine blue. Right, next step, just a small little sketch. I'm going to wet the sky area down to where the hill is here. Go. And now I'm going to put the colour of the sky in. So here we go. Into the wet paint. Now this wet and wet technique will make it a little bit easier for me to get an even effect. It's always darker than you think it is because it's going to dry lighter, so make it a little bit darker than you think it needs to be. Now where I've wet, it will magically stop at that point. Now while that's still wet, I'm going to mix a colour for the distant trees. And I'm going to use first cadmium red with ultramarine blue, and I'm doing a bit more of the ultramarine blue and a bit more of the ultramarine blue than cadmium red. I've got a kind of purpley colour there, and a bit more blue to it, I think. I want it to go quite grey, so I'm going to add a little bit of cadmium yellow to that, just a small bit of cadmium yellow, and it'll make it kind of grey. Now, this is still damp. The shine is just going off the paper. If I get the timing right, I should get little blurred trees. I'm just going to come in now, and you see I'm just dotting it in to where the leaves are. I'm actually going to make it a little bit more yellowy than that. I think it's possibly a bit more green than that. So I'm just going to put some yellow into that mix. It's maybe too much now. Can you see? I'm going to get Ben to zoom in a bit. Let me zoom in a bit, Ben, actually, come nice and close. Can you see how the paint's spreading? I'm getting a really nice soft blurry effect. I'm just dotting in where the branches, or not where the leaves are, or the twigs. Some of the trees haven't really come out, it's just more the fine twigs that are there. I'm just coming in for this darker area here, right down to where the horizon line is there. Getting this really nice soft effect. just at the base here, there's a bit more colour, so I'm going to add a bit more red to it. Slightly kind of browny, reddy colour there. And here it's a bit darker here, so I'm going to add a little bit more blue. But still, I don't want to go too dark. Right, I'm now going to wait for a bit. Right, hopefully the paper is just slightly damp now. I've let it dry a bit. And I'm just going to come in with this grey colour for the tree trunks and drop them in. That's not dark enough, so I need to make it a bit darker. So with a finer brush, I'm going to come in and drop those bits in. And it's not dark enough. You see, come on a bit closer, can you see how it's spreading quite nicely? Okay, I'm getting a bit more control where I'm touching it down. I'm going to leave it a little bit longer. Right, I just tried to put some of the tree trunks in, but it was a bit too wet, so I've just waited another minute. It's all about timing. I'm going to come in now and just see if it works this time. I just touched it in. It still seems a little bit damp. So while that's drying a bit more, I'm going to add a little bit more colour to my well. Make it a bit darker. Leave it another 30 seconds. Okay, let's just try it at the base here. I'm just dropping it in here. And I think now that's good. So I'm just coming in here, dotting in these bits of tree here. Still wet there. And with my finger, I'm just dabbing it just at the top edges here. It's drier, so I just want to soften those bits off. I'm just dabbing it. This is really just an impression. Hopefully you can see the effect I'm getting. I'm going to stop there. I might come back in a bit later with some of the branch effects. Actually, I'm just going to do this bit here, which is a bush in between the two trees, and that can definitely be darker. So I'm just going to soften that off with my finger too. Right, good. Next bit is this very pretty field area. I'm actually going to leave that. I want to now go on to the white blossom. Now, it goes from light to dark. From the left hand side, light, dark to right. And then there's texture indeed.